Hello and welcome to Mellow Herb Farm. I'm Maureen Robertson. I'm a medical herbalist and I've been working with plants for nearly 30 years, mostly in Northern Europe, and for the last 2.5 years here at Mellow Herb Farm, along with my partner José. Together we offer quite an interesting fusion of herbs, healing herbs for medicine, and also music for medicine, the vibrational resonance of healing music.
Hi, my name is José. I'm with music since I was 15 years old. It has been my drive in life, basically. And it's good to now, at this stage of my life, to come to meet the healing powers of music. Something that I was not aware, but I was feeling them throughout my whole life. And together with Maureen, we ally plants and music, which come from the same source. It's two things that come from the same source. And plants are very connected with music, and music is very, very connected with plants.
Especially the aromatic plants with the high essential oil resonance that's already at a higher vibration, and that's what brings the healing into the whole phenomena of people working and interacting with plants. So there's a variety of different beds here. We like to go with a natural style of beds so that there's a curve to most of them. You don't see many straight lines in nature, and so that's why we followed that impulse. And as you can see, even in this fading light in the afternoon, we still have a lot of the marigold flowering here. They're so beautiful, they're colour therapy. The pigments in them are actually anti-inflammatory, both externally for skin conditions and internally for any kind of heat or inflammatory process in the digestion, in any internal system, in fact. And of course, we're in Algarve, so we have lots of favash growing here too. And there's a real variety of different plants, even at this time of year. We have salsa growing here. We have the scorpion weed, which is a pea family member, which has a really good nutritional basis. This is evening primrose, the seeds of which make very high omega oil for healing. And over here, we're very proud to have white sage that it's been quite difficult to germinate, but here it is, and it's next to the common sage. And it really is quite a different plant in both its aromatic qualities and its therapeutic quality to the common sage, which is more antiseptic and astringent, anti-inflammatory. We also have some rue here. This was grown from seed from the north of Portugal. Rue is very protective, another protective. This is one that you see commonly growing by entrances to houses because it has this protective quality. Medicinally, it's very moving, particularly for the pelvis, and is more of a woman's herb in that respect. And we also have some indigenous rue to this area growing down towards the, well, what we call it, we have a dry riverbed, and that's the wild area down there, where there's javeli that come up and remind us that they were here before us. They like to dig up some of where the areas are irrigated. And then over here, we'll take this route round. We have Melissa starting to come back from the ground level. This was cut back after flowering. The cidrera or lemon balm. This is a really, really beautiful aromatic plant, antiviral, cleansing for the digestion, good for fire in the heart and emotional upset. There's more Melissa here as well, and more favash, of course. Here we have our nursery where we are sowing from seed. I would say about 95% of the plants in the garden have been sowed from seed, and the rest are from cuttings, mostly from Fernanda actually. Thank you, Fernanda. So this is like a production line that's always on the go. ready to replace any plants that have finished their flowering, and also for vegetable and salad growing. For our courses, we run apprenticeships and taster weeks and herbal path course and weekends, and we try to produce as much of our own food as possible from the garden. And that's a really big piece for any herbalist, that food is medicine, and the students really enjoy coming out to the garden to collect fresh aromatics and salads for every meal. Then over here we have our herb wheel, which is an 8-bed circular teaching space. Each of the beds are associated with the 4 directions and the 4 elements, so north, south, east and west, fire, earth, water, air, and the qualities that are associated with that: heating herbs, drying herbs, moistening herbs and cooling herbs. So we have the astringent herbs here, more sage and rosemary, more rue. Here we have the east bed, which is predominantly drying herbs like the geranium. And all this geranium here came from just one cutting, which shows its vigorous and powerful growth, and the smell is so, this is a rose geranium that is so uplifting and very good for toning the skin and balancing hormones. Here we have the north-east bed with cooling and drying herbs, like the lavender at the back there. The bees absolutely love this lavender. The smell is very relaxing and antiseptic, and lavender is absolutely specific for burns or any kind of blistering and high inflammatory skin problems. This is milfoil. The name comes, the Latin name is Alchemilla millefolium, which means 1,000 leaves, but it's actually one leaf that's very highly differentiated, so it looks like a feather. And here we have one of the Artemisias. This is Artemisia abrotanum, or southern wood. They actually make a whiskey in America out of this, Southern Comfort. It's very aromatic. You can see the growth is still coming back from the bottom. This is last year's seed heads. It's got very powerful and penetrating scent, and it's used to move stuckness, particularly in the pelvis, for any kind of menstrual obstructions or deficiency. And it's also used to clear the gut from worms. A lot of the Artemisias have that quality. And over here we have artichoke, which has all been grown from seed. This is the globe artichoke. It's what's called a biennial. The first year is spent establishing its leaves, then the second year it will flower, and then you have your classic purple big thistle, because this is in the thistle tribe of the sunflower family. The leaves are very bitter tasting. They're not so aromatic as some of the others that we've met. It's super bitter to taste, and that bitter taste stimulates the whole digestion. So this is a really important digestive herb, and specifically for liver health. It's one of the classic liver restoratives, that it's like a food for the liver. So it's very good to have your artichoke if you're drinking champagne, as they do in France. And this is the Castor plant, Rhesus, which you see all along the hedgerows in Algarve and most of Portugal. The seeds are quite large. They're maybe as big as my little fingernail. They have most spectacularly beautiful colourings on them. They look like beetles. And when that is pressed to produce the oil, the castor oil itself is very thick and it's transparent, and it's used internally to purge the gut if there's constipation, also to promote labour if the labour is not progressing. And it's very famous in naturopathy for the packing of liver packs, kidney packs, ovarian packs, to disperse obstruction and congestion. It's very effective. It can penetrate the body up over 8 centimetres. So it's a very important dispersing and moving oil. Here we have some goldenrod. and there's even some of it still flowering. Its doctrinal signatures makes it look like a bottle brush. That's what its therapeutic indication is, that it can remove catarrh and congestion in the kidneys by clearing the tubules, the kidney tubules. So it's very soft to drink. It's very full in the mouth, and it soothes inflamed urinary tubules. So it does even more than that. It's a food for the kidney, so it's a kidney trophy restorative, what we call restorative. And down below here we have a mixture of borage. Borage is in the comfrey family. It's quite bristly, and if you look at it closely, it has like lots of little hairs that are actually crystals. It's another restorative herb for the adrenal and the nervous system. And the seeds are quite big, quite large black seeds, which produce a lot of the omega oils as well. So this is very good for nervous system health, hormonal health, skin health. This is Clary Sage that's growing here, which is another biennial. This will continue to establish its leaf formation this year, and then next year it will spike into flower and produce a plethora of beautiful pink, purple, very wonderfully aromatic flowers that you can make hydrosol of. It's such an abundant physical plant with the size and quantity of its leaves and flower heads that it's very easy to make large quantities of hydrosol or aromatic water from it. And we also have some thyme here, tomillo, which is one of the most antiseptic plants that we know of. And here we have some marjoram, which is wonderfully aromatic as well. An amazing digestive and very decongesting for muscles as well. So it's really good for clearing congestion in the gut and in muscles. The essential oil is really fabulous adjunct to any muscle rub. And we have planted as many fruit trees as we can as well. We have pear trees, peach trees, kaki, pomegranate. So we've really been enjoying adding to this almond wonderland by adding these other rose family member trees, the fruiting trees. Over behind the vineyard we have our temple, which is where we hold our courses, and it's also a treatment room for people wanting to come for herbal consultation and for massage, which we offer as a one-to-one workshop almost. People come for half a day or so, meet some of the plants that are useful for them directly in the garden, make their own medicine from scratch, put their healing infusion into their medicine, and that's the most powerful thing you can do when you're making up medicine. To be clear what you're wanting to happen, the changes you're wanting to bring through the plant's activity, and through your communicating with the plant of what healing you're wanting, and how impressed you are at how beautiful and gorgeous smelling they are, and maybe there's some qualities there that can help you. That's a short tour of some of the plants that we have here with us on the Herbal Path. We run various courses here, mostly in the springtime when the native plants are in their glory, as well as the plants we've cultivated and grown from seed. We run month-long apprenticeships and the 9-day Herbal Path course, which will be running for the 5th time this year. We also run taster apprenticeships and weekend happenings, and herb walks and seed sowing. So you can find us on our website, which is theherbalpath.net. And we also have social media outlets through Instagram, The Herbal Path Portugal, and Facebook and Twitter. So to find out a little bit more about what we do, please come and visit some of those sites.